barbecue sauce in all of the South Texas Jank Nation. Mr. Lamar. We're going to be hosting our 1 million cups, this special Business Expo edition. If you don't know what 1 million...
Come and go with me on the adventures of Sir Jankster. If the odds have ever been stacked against you, then this book is for you. There's a purpose for your gift. Choose to inspire and uplift. Make a choice. Choose to inspire and uplift. Inspire and uplift. Hey, who grew up in the hood? Crime is the hood. Waiting around. So, toe to toe. Hurt them away. Rolling tails.
Alright, just a couple of minutes, we're going to start it off. 1 million cups is making it over to the side of the building. We've got some giveaways that we'll be doing. 4 hotel nights, $25 gift cards. Some awesome fun trivia.
Make some for me. I'll do all I can. Let him quit. The tears and moments.
Well, good morning, McAllen. The beautiful McAllen Chamber of Commerce Business Expo 2019. Make some noise for speakers. If you don't know me, I'm Drew, and now you do know me. I am loud and I am obnoxious. That's why my favorite bird is the chachalaca, native to South Texas. Exotic, strange, loud, cackling. Some of the words are used to describe me. So, thank you all for taking the time to come and visit us over here on the west side of the McAllen Convention Center, our beautiful facility here. Yahaira's here somewhere, our new director, fantastic. So what we are is, this is a group called 1 Million Cups. I know some of you have been here before, and I know some of you have not been here before, and there's some of you I've never even seen before. So I'm going to explain quickly what we do. The whole concept behind 1 Million Cups is that if you can sit down and share a cup of coffee with someone who's been doing what you're doing for a little bit longer, or who's been involved in it for longer than you have, then maybe that gives you an opportunity to learn something from them. You can sit down with people, learn a little bit about what they've done, and learn how that can help you with your business. So whether you're a brand new startup company trying to make your way, you're an established company up to about 5 years old, we can help provide you with solutions by crowdsourcing information. So everyone in the crowd, depending on what you do, you have a way to help everybody standing up on the stage, including me, which is really cool. You can help me help them. So the way we do that is, what's going to happen is we've got 2 candidates that have been selected. Basically, there's an online application. You go and you fill it out, you submit what you want to talk about, what your business is, and then we select 2 every month that we feature. And these 2 businesses get 6 minutes to come stand up on stage, and they talk about what their product is, what their business is, what their solution is. And after that 6 minutes is done, then we reach out to the crowd and we get to do some Q&A with them for about 20 minutes. We're going to cut it short because we're a little bit late getting started and we have some other stuff going on today. But usually it's about 20 minutes of question and answer. And so what I want you all to do is, when the presenters come up to talk about their business, don't just listen to their story and think about what they're doing. Think about, number 1, how you can help them, and number 2, I want you to think about if you are their customer, if you are their competitor, or if you're a future potential investor or senior management person. So like when Lamar comes up here, that's not you, I want you to think about, as a customer of his barbecue sauce, or his dry rubs, or his books, or his music, I want you to think about what your most demanding question for him would be. And then as a competitor, put yourself in the shoes of Stubbs barbecue sauce, or of A1 barbecue sauce, or of someone, another barbecue sauce that's out there on the market. Think about it from their perspective. What do you see in him that you think you can do better than he does? And pose those questions to him, so that way he can learn a little bit. And then as a potential investor, think about, what would you be looking for him to be doing in 3 years or 5 years down the road? Why would you give him, let's say, $10,000? Let's say everybody in here has $10,000 that you're going to give this guy. What's the first question you would ask him if you were going to invest $10,000 in his business? I want you to think about those 3 things. So, before I get started, first of all, Steve and the McAllen Chamber, and Jorge and everybody involved, I really appreciate you guys doing this. The Chamber of Commerce has been hosting 1 Million Cups now for over a year, 2 years, God, time flies. And it's a fantastic event. It happens first Wednesday of the month, at the second Wednesday, I'm close. Second Wednesday of the month, McAllen Chamber of Commerce. It's a lot of fun. It's usually from 9 to 10. We've got donuts and coffee out there, and we give away cool cups if you answer trivia questions, or if you're one of the presenters. And today, we're spicing that up a little bit. We're giving away gift cards. So we've got some gift cards. So you got to be schooled on your trivia. But there's a whole board of directors that helps put this together. I'm one of them. Miss Stephanie Hawk is another. She's sitting right here. Hi, Stephanie. We've got Stephen Wingert. He's not here. He's making newspapers. Let's see. Who's in the crowd? Elizabeth Hardison, Brian Godinez, Elizabeth Davis, Jacqueline Michelle. Anyone? She's right behind us. Fabiola. Fabi's not here this morning. 2 demerits. Ramiro Garza, Art Ortega, Silver Trevino, right there, and David Gerald. There's Mr. David. So we are the group that helps kind of form this thing, and we get to see all these amazing presentations that come in. So what we're going to do is, it's just about 9:15, and I don't have, there's no bio, other side. Is it? There he is. It's 3 lines. But that's okay, bro, because I know you, and I got you. So, Mr. Lamar Jones, has anyone ever had the Jank barbecue sauce? Oh, they got the music going for you out there. All right, so the brainchild of Mr. Lamar Jones from the Jank Barbecues, revolutionizing the barbecue industry one taste at a time. Mr. Lamar, would you please grace us with your presence and tell us all about your product? Everybody ring your bells. If you don't have a bell, raise your hand. I'll go get you some bells. All right, Mr. Lamar, take it away. You got 6 minutes.
All right, 6 minutes. So we're gonna get started. We're not gonna waste your time.
Come and go.
All right, now I can't tell you about my barbecue sauce and my business without telling you a little bit about my story. You say with number 4, is it? Can we turn this up just a little bit? I was born by the river in a little old tin. Oh, like that old river I was running. Ever since it's been a long time coming, but I know. All right. Thank you. So that song says I was born by a river, and I actually was born by a river right across the bridge from Philadelphia in a place called Camden, New Jersey. Now, if you don't know anything about Camden, New Jersey is home of Campbell's soup, but it's also home to a lot of this stuff here. Very recent statistic. Murder capitals of America, 2 New Jersey cities on the list. Camden came in second, making it the nation's worst murder capital behind only East St. Louis, Missouri, and Chester, Pennsylvania. All right, so at this time in my life as a kid, my mother was a single mother raising myself and my older brother. He's about 5 years older than me. She decides to move us down to a place called Little Haiti, Miami, Florida. That was Little Jankster on the screen there. So we get down to South Florida, and when we get to South Florida, we move from what was going on in New Jersey to a lot more of this. My reality, nothing I can do about it. So, during this time, in that neighborhood, I had to deal with a lot of bullying. You know, this slide says, you know, there once was a boy who grew up in the hood where villains and vandals did crime because they could. Each day an adventure, sun up to sundown, big, bad, bold bullies stood waiting around. So this time, like I said, was me running for my life every day. Literally, I felt like I was running for my life. And now I would get home after running for my life every day, and I would have to deal with a very verbally abusive grandfather. I have to deal with him saying, you know, you're going to be a bum on the street like your mom, you're going to be a crack addict, you'll never graduate high school, any other negative thing that you can think of. You know, these were the things I was told as a kid. And I'm talking about this because these are a lot of the things that help build my character. These are the things that made me into who I am right now. And everybody in here that's a business owner has a story. Everybody has a story, and that is very unique, and that is also one of the most important parts to building and growing and sustaining your business. During this time, dealing with that, I had to make a choice. I had to choose to either listen to what he was telling me as a kid, or I had to choose to do something different. I chose to do something a little different. But in my neighborhood, there was only a couple ways that we really knew other options to actually get out of the neighborhood. Nobody ever mentioned entrepreneurship to me as a kid. I didn't really learn that word until, you know, I was probably in my late teens, early 20s. So, which is crazy because that's something that if I had known about then, who knows where the business would be right now. So this reminds me of a story, and 3 minutes, okay. So this reminds me of a story. I remember saying to my grandmother, hey, I want to play football. And she says to me, you know what, I can't afford it. And I say, come on, Grandma, please, please, please let me play. She finally says, okay, you know what, go ahead, I'm going to let you play. And I felt like this. I get out there, first day of practice, and they put me in nose tackle. And I had a great day at practice. I loved being able to push people around on the football field. It was fun. But after practice, I went home and I said, Grandma, you know what? This is not for me. I don't want to do this. And I quit. But I said to myself after that, looking at my grandmother's face, I could see how hurt and disgusted and angry she was that I had quit and thrown her money away. But I said to myself that day that never again would I quit. If I started something, I was going to finish it. If I started something, I was going to finish it. So when it came time to start my business, the barbecue sauce, there were many times where I felt like giving up, where I felt like, hey, you know what? This is not going to be the thing. You know, why am I doing this? And we all go through that as entrepreneurs. You're going to have those moments, but you have to remember that, you know, there's a reason why you started. And because we're short on time, you know, it's 6 minutes, any other questions that you guys are going to have about the actual product, I have a lot of information to share about that, but I'm going to end it right there because I know we are short on time. But you're going to have those moments. They're going to come, they're going to go. It's going to be important to surround yourself with like-minded people, people that want to see you win, people that want to encourage you to continue to do that business. Because everybody's not going to support you, but the ones that you have around you that support you, make sure you keep those folks close. And that is my time.
All right, so I'm gonna grab this microphone real quick and lead you guys in song. No, not me. Just kidding. Oh. Anyway, thanks for your time, man. So let's go through a couple questions here. So I want y'all first off to think about the struggles that Lamar's been through, not just, you know, not on the life side, but think about from an entrepreneurial perspective, right? So he decides he's gonna make a barbecue sauce. He puts his mind to it. Think about it from a customer perspective, right? You've tried his sauce, you've seen the sauce on store shelves. You know, he won the competition with HEB.
Didn't win.
Well,
got top 25.
there you go, top 25. That's the second time I messed that one up.
That's all right, but they called me after the contest, said, hey, we definitely want to do business with you. So I won. I didn't win, but I won.
It's always a win. So as a customer, put yourselves in the customer's shoes, right? Y'all buy barbecue sauce, you go to HEB, you guys like to cook out on the weekend. Think about what a burning question is as a customer if you could talk to someone who makes that sauce. Mr. Steve, we'll start with you.
So, Lamar, there's over 650 barbecue sauces on the shelves. So what are the three key differentiators with Jank barbecue sauce?
All right, I'm going to get into the key differentiators. But before the key differentiators, the Jank helps you turn ordinary meals into extraordinary food experiences. Period. That's what it does. The versatility of it is what makes it different. The quality of it is what makes it different. And then just the brand and the business itself. There's a certain level of prestige associated with the business. Anytime you see my brand, anytime you see that logo, you associate it with goodness, with, you know, it's better. Especially if you've had the product, and those are the things that make it different. Those are the things that differentiate it from everything else on the market.
Awesome. Can you really put it on birthday cake?
Yes, sir. I've had people do it. Cheesecake is actually really good with it. So there's definitely some options. The marbled sweet cornbread is another thing. So you kind of make it look like a cake, and that's pretty tasty.
All right. So as a customer, who has a question for Mr. Lamar? Raise your hand. I'll come over to you. What's a question in barbecue sauce? What's a question in distribution?
So where can we purchase your products? Is it nationwide, just locally?
Awesome, great question. Where can we purchase the product? So as of now, HEB is the big major retailer that carries the product. I actually have the website up so I can ship anywhere in the world. And just to share some information on some stuff that's happened recently, I just shipped a large order to Australia, and some things are in the works on that side of town. But those are where you can actually get the product, and you have the original, you have the spicy, you have a habanero flavor, and you also have a dry rub all-purpose seasoning blend. But something that's going to be hitting the shelves in January is a diabetic-friendly, keto-friendly sweetened with monk fruit, no sugar added, the goodness. So that's also going to be on the shelves in January. It's already gotten the okay, but I'll have some before that happens. Great question, thank you. Yes, Mr. Silver.
I have two questions for you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
The first one is, what was the worst obstacle that you experienced with this?
Worst obstacle? All right, for one, I never planned for anything to go as planned. That's just been my experience. If it goes as planned, that's great. It's a win. You should definitely put that feather in your hat, pat yourself on the back because it went as planned. But 9 times out of 10, things don't go as planned. One of the biggest things that happened very early on was I had a label on my product. It was a clear vinyl label. I had gotten the okay from the co-packer saying, hey, we could use this label, we could use it, it'll run through our machines, no problem. First few months ran great. After a while, I would actually notice like wrinkles, like really big creases in my label when I would go in the store sometimes. And I'm like, what's going on here? Turns out, okay, they couldn't use the labels. It started giving them machine issues, I guess because it was clear. I don't know what the issue was. But I had purchased at least 75 to 100,000 labels. And we probably were about 10 or 15,000 in at that point. So I had to get rid of those. There's nothing I could do about it. It was what it was. I had to figure out what the next step was. And to keep in mind, at the time, I did not have the money to just throw away 10, money from.
The other question is this: you're a fantastic singer, man. Why aren't you out there with the stars?
All right. So music. I'm a musician that fell into the barbecue sauce thing. So now I still do music very heavily, especially with my presentations with the book and at the schools. But I have an album online actually. It's called Lamar Jones 1981. It's on any digital online outlet. It's a whole album, and that's my music with me singing and everything. So that is available. So I am still doing music, and I'm not out there yet because I didn't want to sign my life away, Silver. I had some contracts on the table. I didn't want to sign my life away. Great question, thank you.
Before the barbecue business, were you in other types of businesses, or were you involved in anything else before this? And the second question is, in terms of financing, did you go through the traditional financing route, or do you have equity investors in the company?
All right, so first question is, was I doing any other business before then? I was an independent musician in South Florida, is what I did. And every day, maybe 5, 6 nights a week, I was selling CDs out the trunk of my car. I was my business. So I was on stage performing many a nights, going to the spot with my gas tank on E, trying to figure out if I was going to actually make it there, but I needed to sell at least 1 or 2 CDs to get back home or to make it to the next spot. So every night, I was selling myself on stage, and I had to be a salesman and a performer. So that was my first business. I worked a lot of other jobs before then, but that was my first, I guess, experience as an entrepreneur. As far as my funding, there's no, I'm 100% equity owner in my company, and I'm that way by choice. I've had offers, but when I think about the long run and where I see this business going, which is a global brand, which is what I see happening with it, I didn't necessarily want to take on any investors if they weren't bringing the right connections and distribution levels or channels to it and to help scale the business. The Lift Fund is in the building. I see Marlene sitting in here. So the Lift Fund is a micro-lending outfit here in the Valley. They're local. I think the headquarters is San Antonio, but they gave me my first $10,000 loan. And then I also was the McAllen Chamber of Commerce Innovation Grant winner in 2014 and 2018. So I've had those funding options, but other than that $25,000, all out of pocket. I work every day. I still have a job that I dump money back into the business with.
So we've got time for about one more question. Who's got the most important question? All right, see if you can make it quick and we'll get these two.
All right.
Question,
Yes.
as you plan to grow,
Do you plan to add four, you have 4 items, do you plan to add more? And if so, why? And if not, why?
So do I plan to add items to, you know, my SKUs, my products now? It depends. One of the things I didn't want to do as a barbecue sauce or as a food product initially was come out with too many products, and now, you know, I'm trying to manage all these different products. My initial goal was to make sure that the brand was really, really, really strong, so that if I did come out with another product, it wouldn't be like I really have to educate the population on, hey, here's a new product. But if you see the jank and you see a new product, you see it, oh, because you know what the other one is, now you're thinking, oh, okay, the other stuff is good, so this gotta be good, so you'll at least try it. So I didn't want to stretch myself too thin, and every product that I have since the beginning, like all 5 products now, with what's coming out in January, were all things that feedback that I got from the community, because I still do a lot of farmers markets and word of mouth, and you get enough requests after a certain amount of time, then the idea becomes to make sense, and it's like, well, you know what, maybe there's a market out there for it. So that would be my take on that, just doing it as it makes sense, as opposed to just because somebody else is doing it, or, you know, this other company has 10 flavors on the shelf, doesn't mean that 10 flavors are selling. All right, great question. Yes, ma'am.
So on my way over here, I was thinking about, you know, my path in the last 12 years and how motivated and, you know, ambitious I've been, but have been feeling kind of discouraged lately. So my question to you is, did you ever reach a point where you felt so discouraged that, you know, you were in your head, might even quit it all? I mean, was there ever a time, and how did you come out of that, if so?
All the time, to answer your question. I'm going to give you 2 examples. One, when I won the Chamber of Commerce, when I won the innovation grant, I was at a point where I needed money in order to go to the next step with my business, and I did not have any other options. The first time, I did not win the grant. They told me no, I didn't win anything. So I had to wait another year to come back and apply. That was a pretty, I would say that was a low point, because I felt like, man, now what? You know, what am I going to do now? Other thing is, there's a word that I coined, and the word is EDOD, right? It's an acronym, and it stands for either you do it or you do it. Quitting is not an option. You started for a reason. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. Your worst day as an entrepreneur will be better than your best day working for somebody else. Now, there's thank you. There's nothing wrong with having a career and working for somebody. That's great. I still have a job, which has kind of become my part-time job because of what the business is doing. But sometimes you have to work in order to fund your dream, if that makes sense. So that's why I talked about earlier, surrounding yourself with people that want to see you win, people that are going to help you get to that next level. And if they're not doing that, some people are not always meant to be in your life, if that makes sense. Make sense? All right.
That's awesome. As usual. Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing your story and your experience with us. Before you leave, I'm going to need your help doing something. We got a couple things we got to do here. What a great story, man. You've got the book. How can, if they want more information, how can they find you online? Do you ever do any public speaking, maybe like at schools or?
Awesome. All right, okay. So I'm very easy to find. All of my social media outlets are public. If you go at BBQJank, Instagram, Facebook, my website is just bbqjank.com, so everything's uniform across the board. With my book, I do author visits at schools. So for me, with the product and everything, the biggest thing for me, the biggest help for me has always been the word of mouth and just being able to connect me with certain people or put me in the room with the right person. and the product will sell itself. I'm pretty confident in what the product is because I did it for me. I wasn't doing it for anybody else, so I really loved it, which is why I think it's doing what it's doing. But the biggest help for me is being able to connect, and I was actually talking with Miss Stephanie a little earlier about just connecting with certain people. So that is the biggest thing for me at this point, unless it's a whole bunch of money, that works too. You know, I have some ideas and things I want to do, but that would probably be the biggest help for me at this point.
So if there's anything, I want you all to think about what you can do, how you could help Mr. Lamar get to his goal of global distribution, get to his goal of getting new products out on the shelf. Think about what you can do, and afterwards, feel free to run up to him and talk to him. So for speaking today, we want to give you a token of appreciation. We've got our 1 Million Cups cup. It's fantastic. It keeps your coffee warm. You could drink barbecue sauce out of it.
You might. It's possible.
I don't know. So, and also, would you mind asking the trivia question for us? So right now,
All right.
since Copy Plus is a title sponsor for the Business Expo, we're going to give away a $25 gift card to someone
right.
who can answer a question. Is that cool with you?
That is all
You
right
can't
with
have
me.
it though. Is that all right? Because the answer's right there.
I don't know, man.
So since Copy Plus is a title sponsor for the Business Expo, can you ask that question for me?
And the question is, Copy Plus has ever made?
All right, who's got a guess? We're looking for length and then height. What do you think? In inches, let's go in inches. It's easy.
Inches and feet?
Oh no, that's in feet. Feet. Whoa. All right, 100 by what? 100 long. 100 by 30? Wrong. 80 by 80? 200 by 100? 500 by 250? No one else wants a $25 gift card.
Closest guess was Stephanie and Miss Elizabeth.
Silver got it. 80 by, he said 80. Well, come on and get a gift card, man. Woo! Woo! I don't know if it matters which one. Hey, all right. Thanks, man. Hey, don't forget your cup. All right. Okay. Everybody got the yayas out. We're good to go. It's good stuff. What a cool story, man. I love hearing that story. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next presenter. Trivia? Another trivia? You have 3? You want me to do another? You want me to do the second one? Wingard's not even here. We shouldn't even ask his trivia question. Boo. Wah, wah. All right. Since the Monitor is a title sponsor for the Business Expo, yay, thank you, the Monitor. We appreciate the business, or the hospitality and the sponsorship. Since the Monitor is a sponsor for the Business Expo, all right, here's a good one for a cup. Who wants a cup? Right? There's a gift card. A cup and a gift card. Whoa. All right. You two can pretend that you're a speaker at 1 Million Cups. A cup and a gift card. What's the circulation, daily circulation? How many? 20,000. 50, 20? 5. 25. 5 or 25? 25. 30. 38. 70. 55. 64. 150. 75, 90. Anyone else? Hey, everybody in the Business Expo who's not here who doesn't want to win free stuff. How many copies do you think the Monitor prints on a daily basis? Someone shout out a number. Ooh, nice crowd interaction. Miss, how many? 7,000! No, but that's okay. It was a good guess. Stephanie, you said 38,000. They're actually 36,000. So you were the closest. You have yet another 1 Million Cups. If you need a 1 Million Cups mug, just go see Stephanie. She has like 12. Is it really your first? Congratulations. All right. We're going to give this one out after, but I'll give out another cup and a one-night stay gift certificate by Perspective Hospitality at the Home 2 Suites in Hilton here. a little staycation action. There's a lot of good restaurants. I don't really eat over here that often, but when I come down here, there's a lot of really good stuff. It's crazy. The seafood place right there, man, that place is good. Have you guys seen their lobster tacos? Get out of town. They're incredible. I don't remember the name of it, but that sucks. But their lobster tacos are amazing. Anyway, all right, so I don't know where there we go. Jaime Gutierrez, you're the next contestant. Whatever soiree you're attending, their men's formal wear is dapper enough for your finest occasions. Ah, very good. Okay, the stage is yours, my friend.
Thank you guys for coming. So my name's Jaime Gutierrez. I work for James & James Formal Wear. My family owns it. I know it says 1985 and it says 5 years past, but I'll talk about the past 5 years and what we're doing and what we're expanding to, so you can kind of give me your feedback and see what you think about it. So we have a business here in 10th Street in McAllen. We rent tuxedos. When I graduated high school, which was 2007, I started working full time for my family. And obviously, 13 years ago, they would be like, "That's really dumb. What are you doing?" And obviously it was. Right now, it's kind of like pretty cool, but back in the day, it was like frowned upon. So my parents told me no, no, no. So by myself, I learned how to do coding and do a website and everything, and that's the first website I came out with. That's 2009. Obviously, one of the most beautiful websites you've ever seen. That's literally how it looked. Look at the logo. I didn't even know how to put a logo on the website. But that's what I did. I couldn't get, the actual rental of a tuxedo online. That was really, really complicated. So I just put a submit measurement and I just do it. So I put it live in 2009. It wasn't really working too much, so I was like, maybe I should separate, James Tuxedos and put it on myself. I bought a domain. It was called togotux.com. And I couldn't find the website because it was 2012, but I put a link on our website from James Tuxedos to gotux.com. It would have been much better if I would have put tux2go.com. That would have been catchier, but I put togotux because I was like 19, 20 years old and I kind of messed up. So that's what I did. For the next 3 years, I had it live, and I rented 0 tuxedos. Nothing. I had no idea how to do marketing. I was 20 years old, 21 years old, somewhere around there. And I had no idea how to do marketing online. I was just like telling people like, hey, rent a tuxedo online when they're inside the store. Obviously, that's really dumb. So after that, my parents were like, hey, how many do you rent? And I was like, oh, don't you just hate it when your parents are right? So yeah, after that, I was like, okay, let's just put a pause on it. I started doing other ventures, and I made a tech company a while back, and I went to one of the tech conferences. And so I'm just there, meeting, the booths. It's pretty much like this, just only technology companies. And I see some company, and they're like, oh yeah, we were just funded $20 million, blah, 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 talking about their company. And I was like, oh, so what do y'all do? Online tuxedo rentals. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? So I'm just talking to the owners and everything, and they're like, yeah, we had no idea how to rent tuxedos. We just, had an idea and we thought it was cool because we rented at Men's Warehouse and it wasn't that, interesting. We didn't have a good experience, so we were like, you know what, rent tuxedos online. And later I found out that the dad is like a hedge fund manager that gave him like $20 million, and they're still doing pretty good because they have a lot of money, right? Anyway, after I came back from that conference, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to do it again. So there I am. For a year, I worked on my website to do that was 2016. So it was a little bit better. I've been getting better over the years. That was, 7 years in the works, and that's what I have in 2016. I started working on it. We started renting actual tuxedos because people were more like, kind of like, okay, well, that website does it now. There's like 10 websites that do it. So more people started renting it. So 1, 2 instead of 1 or 2 a month instead of 0 for 3 years. So expanding, getting better at my marketing, getting better at my SEO just by myself, not actually paying. The Wix website costs like $300, $400 a year. not super expensive. And you know, the tuxedos I already have for my wife recently, about a month ago in Harlingen, because of the online tuxedo rentals. But we've only been shipping to in Texas. I mean, it's worked out. It's not like, you know, the biggest thing, right? But always you know, making the website better and such. This was the recently updated website that I did this year. And last month in August, they made you know, a competition, and we got 6th place in the U.S. of best online tuxedo rentals. So that's pretty good. Thank you. The design and everything is cool, but obviously to compete against the problem that we have is, how do you compete against companies that have, you know, these the 3 or 4 companies that do online tuxedo rentals? They come from hedge fund companies that have 20, 30, 40 million dollars, and they have, you know, $1 million in marketing, compared to a mom and pop shop that doesn't have something like that in marketing. So our next goal, and you know, the things that we have in mind is, so, you know, people when they go to weddings, quinceañeras, parties and such, that they wear tuxedos. When they're done with the party, they're tired and they don't want to go return the tuxedo. Obviously, they're hungover, or they're tired, or they're just like busy and stuff like that. So my next idea is, you know, you go into the store to actually get measured, because a lot of people like to get measured, and then we go pick up your tuxedo at your house once you're done. You know, so you don't actually have to go buy, you know, actually go back to the store or anything like that. Make so many trips. That's what we're trying to like pencil out. We don't want to just be the typical, you know, tuxedo rental that, you know, my parents started in the 80s, but I want to like take it to the next level. Be like, you know, whatever it is that we're renting, be it tuxedo suits, you know, whatever is next in line, you know, kind of cut off like the so many trips to a store, but still having like that actual service from an actual professional, not just a website that you have. So that's where we're at right now. Thank you.
Well, great. Well, man, that's fantastic. Everybody ring your bells, ring your bells. Hey, that's really cool. I'm sure everyone's thinking some of the same ideas, but I mean, what a cool way to take a story from an older business, you know, an established business here, and move it online. It's a great story. So I think, again, think about it from a customer's perspective. Think about, I mean, if for the guys, right, or for the girls that wear tuxedos, I mean, whatever, 2019. If you're a customer, or if you're renting any type of clothes, I mean, like rent a dress is a big thing for the females and some males. I mean, there's a lot of online stuff that's available now to rent things. As a customer, what would make your life easier if you were renting a tuxedo? Because you hit on it. I mean, we've all been to weddings and not wanted to return our tuxedos the next day. Yeah.
That's part of it.
I'll prod you with one. Have you ever considered maybe partnering, like locally, partnering with Ranvu?
Yes,
or
actually.
Partnering with Uber or someone like that to do your tuxedo pickup?
I had thought about it. I just haven't like actually looked in it to see the cost of how much it would be or anything like that. But I have thought of Ranvu or Uber or Favor or any of those. I just haven't actually gotten to the point to, you know, are customers willing to let people go to their house? But I know like Grubhub and Uber do that now. But also, you know, like, oh, let me go pick up your tux.
Yeah, I mean, Ranvu would be a great place to start, a great local place to start. And then, you know, Favor's a Texas company.
Yeah.
They're owned by HEB now. So how about you all? As a customer, what would make things easier? Senor Geralt, you're up first.
So my issue would be either time to come into the store to do the measurements, but lacking confidence to be able to correctly measure myself at home and order online. If you looked at technology out there and it will accurately measure the stuff in the pictures, that would be a huge step for me, when I could basically snap a selfie and send it to you, and you figure out my measurements and send me the text.
Yeah, I think there's an app for shirts that has that you take a picture and but I think they haven't like patented, and I'm not that good at coding to make something like that, but yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
Also, I mean, Amazon they introduced the deal where you can, the different clothing options, and it using augmented reality, and it puts the clothes on you, so you can stand there and swipe through all the clothes and it shows you exactly what you look like. Kind of interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Two things. Is there an option that is where they pay an additional fee to keep that extra day? I don't know if that's an option. I would be willing to, for that convenience, pay an extra fee So I could have it an extra day, so I don't have to worry about taking it back to you and all that good stuff. One. The second thing you mentioned about your bigger company. How do I compete? In my opinion, as an entrepreneur myself, would be that own your own space. There's always going to be bigger companies out there. Own yourself to avoid always trying to compete against the big section area, your region, you're doing, and grow as you come. So that's just a comment.
Have you out that you guys have thought about doing like that, boutique wise?
So reasonable suits and pants usually carry just the same type of shirts. So we came out with this shirt exactly that kind of like covers the buttons, which is copied it from one of the movies from James, kind of like a plus. But I mean the actual making of tuxedos and that's a little more expensive on that side. So I mean we thought about it. It's just hard.
As a customer, I think when I went in for measurements, if you just simply did in so many days, just mail it back. That there's no gas, there's no, nobody's spending any time in the vehicle on time, or me, oh, I've got to go over here and go drop it off. It would just be simply mailed, and that would be it. And as far as your shirts, that's awesome that you're making shirts. I would love to see you make a shirt that has like the collar with buttons to where like you can change the collar to match the cuffs. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that would be awesome.
Okay, thanks.
Like,
so, well, let me ask you. I know you said that you would pay to ship it back and stuff like that. Because shipping usually, like in Texas, anywhere in Texas, like if you ship from here to Brownsville, like a tuxedo box is like $16, $17. Like, would customers and such be willing to pay that, not having to go back to a store?
Either that or roll it into the cost so that they don't see the 16 or 17 bucks. Like I do the trunk club thing from Nordstrom, where they send you the clothes and then you try on what you like, and the stuff you don't like, you just throw it back in the box and ship it back, and everything's included. They ship you the box with the label and everything else. They could be charging me $400 for shipping. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the cost is because it's all rolled into whatever my monthly fee is. But it seems like that's a more economical way. I saw a lot of people nodding their heads with that. Does anybody have any other creative ideas? Silver's going to tell you to drop him off at a golf course. That's what
I think while you were saying that, I was thinking about my grandson. He's got a couple of jobs, but they're not producing any money for him. So I was thinking that you would hire a young man to go to the venue where the party is, and because I saw a couple of kids change there right after the event and walk out with their jeans on it. A lot of people are getting ready, as soon as the event is over, they want to get out of those clothes, right? So why don't you find a way of hiring one person to go to the event, and whoever wants to turn it in there to that particular person will do that,
Okay.
Or partnering with the VIN centers,
Yeah.
designated drop-off locations. I don't know. Okay, so that from a customer's perspective, there's a lot of interesting feedback. What about from a competition perspective? What do you all think? Is there something that if you were his competitor, what is something that you think you could do better than he's doing right now? This little critique, not meant to hurt feelings, but what do you think you could do that he's doing better? Or what's a business idea that you could think of that's something that may help him, but from a competition perspective, like Trunk Club, for example. Like they ship the stuff to you, you fill out the deal, it comes to me, it's nice and easy. I can get a tuxedo through that. I can't rent it, I have to buy it, but it comes in, I turn around, I ship it back. What's something you think that could help?
I know probably inventory is a big issue, making sure you have everything that you need. But is there any way that there could be like a collaborative association that is not so cost prohibitive that it wouldn't work, where if all of a sudden you had 25 suits you needed, 25 tuxedos you needed the same size, and you only carry 20, are there any kinds of ways to have a collaborative partnership that could be set up with other tuxedos and suits companies that could help you expand, and then expand too, because, you know, maybe somebody in Dallas, because if you do things in Dallas and somebody else is doing things in Dallas, without cutting into your overall market share.
There is like for most tuxedo companies, there's like a wholesaler that rents to a lot of them. It's just like the styles that they carry is really outdated, because I mean they're completely different from, you know, me buying the clothes or choosing the styles that we carry to somebody else, you know, from another company. They have different likes and everything. So like on the basic, you know, traditional tuxedos, yeah, they help us there. But other than that, it's just like their cost is really high because that's where they make their money. And like if, you know, let's say they rent it to us for $75 and I have to rent it $100, you're making $25. That doesn't even cover the cost of rent and stuff like that. So that's also pretty complicated there. But yeah.
Interesting. Well, lots of great feedback, and we've got to cut it here in a little bit, but if you guys could raise your bells and ring them for me as a way to say thank you. And again, we will present you with your 1 Million Cups mug to show everyone that you had the courage to come up here and talk to us about your business. Smile for Mr. Easy if you don't mind. Awesome. Okay, now I need your help before you leave. Sounds like there's some really cool stuff going on with you, and it's cool to have that coming out of McAllen and Harlingen now. I mean, that's awesome. So if you can do me a favor, since Perspective Hospitality, they're supposed to make noise, they're supposed to scream. Woo! Whatever. Okay, since Perspective Hospitality is a title sponsor for the Business Expo, can you read this question for me right there?
Okay. So, how many rooms does Perspective Hospitality own through its 6 hotels?
6 hotels. They have 6 hotels. Can anyone name all 6 of their hotels? We've got La Copa on South Padre Island, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Cedar Park, La Quinta Inn and Suites, South Padre Island, Home 2 Suites here in McAllen, Embassy Suites here in McAllen, and the Hilton Garden Inn on South Padre Island. All of those combined equal how many rooms? All right, we've got a cup and a one night stay. Okay. 600, 1,000, 1,200, 750s. Okay, we have 2 750s. 650. What? 1,500, 1,800, 1,801. I like your strategy. Huh? 2,000, 700, 760. 960, 800. Young lady, you won because you were 10 more than them. It's actually 773, and you said 760, and they said 750. So you were closer by 10. But come on up here. Anyway, Jaime, thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure having you out here. All right. There you go. Every month, on the second Wednesday of the month at 9 o'clock in the big room at the McAllen Chamber of Commerce. It's an what? No, at the incubator. I forgot. Tech Place at the incubator. My office is there. I should know this. Second Wednesday of the month, 9 a.m. Tech Place at the McAllen Creative Incubator. There's coffee. There's donuts. If you want to apply to be one of the speakers, just look for 1 Million Cups McAllen. Go to the McAllen Chamber of Commerce website and fill out the information, and we will see you here next month. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy the McAllen Business Expo 2019.
We're going to try it this year. Can we have some more casual settings?
If anybody wants a business card,